With both candidates making stops in Texas just days before the election, a lot of people are noticing the role our state will play in this vote. Joining me live in Studio A are chairs of both the Harris County Democratic and Republican parties, Cindy Siegel and Mike Doyle. Good morning to you both. Thank you both for being here. Mike, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in on your birthday and joining us this morning. I want to ask you, has Texas officially become a battleground state?
Well, I think it is to some degree because, and Mike can speak to it from the Democratic Party, but the reality is, we have to fight for every vote. Everyone needs to get out and vote, and in Texas, we don't take anything for granted. It was back in the 90s when we flipped the state to Republican, and I think there are many people who are still cognizant of that.
I think right now, Harris County is a swing county, and it's been that way, and hopefully this cycle it'll be that way, and that's what makes a difference. We get 1.1 million Democrats in this county. It doesn't matter what happens anywhere else.
Changing the landscape just a little over the decades. Looking at issues, talk to us about top issues for both parties. We know Kamala Harris is focusing on reproductive rights during her visit to Houston today. Given the state's restrictive abortion laws, do you think this issue will play a key role in swaying voters in Houston and throughout the state of Texas?
From my perspective, we're talking about candidates up and down the ballot, and one of our candidates has often said that, the lower the ballot, the closer to home. But what's happened to women in the state and their freedom taken away, I think is going to have a big impact here.
So from our standpoint, I think it's easy that there's, in fact, more than one issue on the ballot. People are struggling out there. People are very concerned about what's going on with the border. We see that there's already another caravan approaching the border from the south. We see what's happened across the country in our large metropolitan areas, and even our small towns have been impacted by it. People are struggling. Their paycheck isn't going as far. They don't feel as safe. And those are the issues that I think people are going to vote on. And Mike is right in the sense of it's local issues. It's not just D.C. is far away. But it's the reality that those decisions are impacting us on a day-to-day basis, more than reproductive rights.
Yeah. Cindy, you mentioned several top issues. Do you think these issues are dividing undecided voters heading into the November election?
Well, we'll find out for sure. But in Harris County, over half the voters haven't voted. They're independents. They haven't voted in a Democrat primary. They haven't voted in a Republican one. And so those are who we're going after, our candidates are going after. And we're talking about how government can impact in a negative or positive way their day in, day out lives. Does your paycheck go further? Are you safer? Can your husband go to an ATM, or is it going to be mugged? Can your kids go out, bike to a neighbor? Those are the issues that I think resonate and will resonate in the ballot box.
What type of influence do these issues have on younger voters?
Well, I have two daughters, one in her late 20s and one just turned 30 this summer. And I think that they see it. We see it with kids across the country, and I think President Trump is actually reaching a younger voter, and we're starting to see that that it's changing. The fact is the Republican Party, it's not what I think people used to view the Republican Party, a bunch of old, rich white people sitting in a country club. It's the party of the working class, and that means the younger kids that are getting out of school looking for the same American dream that their parents had.
Mike?
It's funny because when I hear Republicans say we're the working class party, I see what they're doing to the working class, and that's one of the things that I think, particularly with young folks who it's so difficult to get a job now, we're still bearing what Trump did when he was in office. It's easy to remember the good, but boy, we were in such a bad position until President Biden, and with the help of Harris, but at the end of the day, making his own decisions, really made the changes. And we've seen the economy starting to do what it needs to do. And that's why I think right now, with all these new voters, so many of them young, we're very, very optimistic about what's going to happen in Harris County this year.
With that said, talking about endorsements, celebrity endorsements, we're hearing Beyonce, Willie Nelson joining Kamala Harris this evening. We know Ted Cruz will join former President Trump. He's had endorsements from several celebrities as well. What do these endorsements mean to these candidates, specifically both the older generations and the younger generations? Talk to us about the divide here among the voters.
I think personally, I think there was a time when celebrities, probably impacted people's votes, but I think it's overdone now. I think so many celebrities on both sides are out there viewing their opinion. And the reality is, I think what resonates more are the real people, the people who are out there, the workers, the farmers, someone out there working at McDonald's. I mean, it's the everyday person who's speaking out, and it's their endorsement and ultimately their vote that's going to decide this election.
Mike, are they influencing voters, or are they just drumming up the base support?
Well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I'd rather have Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Willie Nelson supporting my candidates than not. But I think if the bottom line is, people make their own decision, and if there's folks they respect and they come out and show what they think about issues, it matters.
And right now we have a poll going on Click to Houston right now asking viewers which issue will drive your presidential vote. We have answers from foreign policy, immigration, abortion access, crime, economy, party affiliation. Cindy, you hit this home earlier when you talked about economy. People, those people living paycheck to paycheck, wanting to see how far their dollar will go.
Well, the fact is, and I saw a statistic, and I'm a numbers person, that inflation has increased like 19% under Biden-Harris. I don't remember inflation being as high, and I'm not exactly young. So I remember the days of the 70s when inflation was double digit, the impact it had on the small business owner. And I think that's the reality we're living in. So again, it's a simple question. Is your life better today? Can you achieve the American dream? Do you want 4 more years of what we've had under Biden and Harris? Or do you want a strong economy, safe neighborhoods, secure border?
I want to end, Mike, I'll let you respond.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the point is the economy, the numbers, what's happening now is really compelling. And it's a great story about new jobs, all the effort put into new jobs, things that matter. We're talking about semiconductor plants being built. So many people are doing so well. And at the end of the day, I think there's really 2 questions. How bad can it get if we elect Trump in 4 years?
I want to end on this. I want to end with undecided voters. This is a very heavily watched race. We are 11 days away from Election Day. Do you believe there are undecided voters out there, given the choice of these 2 candidates?
There might be 2 people in this county. No, I say that. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of folks, there's so much information, so many this is a very clear choice. Our job in what we're doing is getting every voter that we know is going to vote for our candidates out there. And that's the challenge, because we've had a great turnout, which is fantastic, but we want to make sure that people understand just because it's crowded, just because everybody wants to be out there, you need to be there, because if you don't get your vote, you don't have a voice.
Cindy.
I would agree. I mean, it's important for everyone to vote all the way down the ballot. This is your opportunity, and it's going to be a close election. We've seen that in recent years. This isn't, whether it's Harris County or the nation as a whole, every vote counts, particularly for those down ballot candidates. And, if you don't vote, you've just given up, you've abdicated your rights as a citizen of this country.
Yeah, there's a saying I've heard that, if you're not at the table, you're dinner. And this is your opportunity to really make a difference. It's your responsibility.
Yeah, your responsibility to ensure your voice is heard. We appreciate you both coming on the show this morning. Thank you so much, Cindy and Mike.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it.